What's up, fish tank people? FishTankTV.com, Dustin's Fish Tanks. Bring it to you live in front of the no maintenance tank. How is everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. I want to show you how I walk into an aquarium that I'm not trying to maintain and show you what I'm putting up with here. And it's part of the reason I don't do tank maintenance around town. So I got the key, roll in here, and I'll show you guys this. So this is the pediatric nonprofit that closes at they close at like 1 or whatever. So I gotta lock the door because people were coming in here trying to get stuff. And we roll in here like this. Here's a map of the United States. There's where Dusty went in Peru. Oh, my pin's taken out. But anyway, we roll in here like this. Now, stop. Let's just take a look here. Here's what's going on. So this is how I walk in. Notice. Light on. Light on. Light on. Windows. This light, they never turn off. That's a problem. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to clean up this tank here, and let's take a look at how it's doing. But I mean, just this is what I'm constantly battling. So I'm going to break it down for you like this. We fire on the no maintenance tank for you all. Now notice it's on a timer. You can't see squat, which is fine. And I will spin it around. The timer is on. It's kicked on. Here's that tank. Now look down here. The maintenance timer is on for 6 hours. That's it, all right? It's on for 6 hours. I'm actually gonna cut that back because that's not enough. So we're going right here like this, 6 hours, and I'm gonna set it here and I'm gonna break down the causes of what's going on in the no maintenance tank. Let me turn some lights on and get cozy with you all. So the deal is with the no maintenance tank is this. I'm in here. People get algae. Your boy D gets algae. Algae is a rite of passage. We've all been there. We've all got it. I'm going to lower this down just a little bit to get cozy with you all. There we go. In the mix live, baby. And, so yeah, no maintenance tank's a mess. It's a total fail. It's not a total fail. We just got to adjust. So I want to break down today for you guys kind of what's going on in this tank. It's actually not as bad as it looks, but I wanted to walk you in intentionally at the beginning of this video to show you the darkness and to show you what I'm working with. So there's two things at play here, and I'm working on a video entirely about algae, but I'm going to break the algae down for this. Thing one, too much light. Now, it's not always just the light in your tank. It could be some of the light elsewhere. As you can see, I have lights that are over there that never turn off. There's battles between my wife and the other lady that works here to keep these blinds closed over here. So there's two things there, getting direct sunlight. Also, in the summertime, there is more daylight. So light is our first thing. We always want to worry about lights. Light's number one. To treat this tank, I'm actually just going to kill the lights for a couple days and not have it on at all. So that's the first thing. The other part of it is, I should have brought my mic. Oh well. The other part of it is the lighting is bad, but then we also have to worry about the actual fish load in this tank. How many fish are getting fed? How often are they getting fed? How much are they getting fed? All that sort of thing. So that's part of the stuff that we have to worry about with this. How much stuff is actually going into this tank? So there's two factors. You've got how much light is it getting, and you've got how much food and excess nutrients are going into this tank. And I'm on the non-for-profit Wi-Fi, so if this goes down, I apologize, and I'll just make a video about it at some point. But the bottom line is this. We got too much light, we got too much excess nutrients, and we're going to clean it up today. And I'm going to add a couple of plants that I'm pretty stoked about as well. So I'm going to show this. This algae, fortunately, is not that bad to deal with. You guys can see this stuff. Cool. Yeah, so this algae is actually not that bad to deal with. So I'm going to start by, when in doubt, do a big water change. So I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to start with at least the start of a water change here. Got the giant monster tube. And then I'm going to suck it down. But actually, before I start the water change, I'm going to loosen up all the algae first. I think that's a better way to go. So we'll start here and roll like this. Manual removal is the first thing. The duckweed has failed me, but I'm going to use it to my advantage here to pull everything out. The plant load is the third key of this that's not quite in line. I have in this tank used the wonderful Buce philandra that I just totally love. However, I underestimated its growth rate. I figured it would or I overestimated its growth rate. I thought it would grow faster than it did, and it's not growing that fast. So what I've done is I've actually thought, hey, my initial plan was this. Hey, the Buce philandra is going to grow fast. It'll grow all over the tree, grow faster than I thought it would, and it's going to grow quicker. I'll show you guys this close here. It's going to grow faster. Well, that's not the case. So now, you look up close, I got the Buce right there. It's not growing as quickly as I'd like. So that's the first thing, is like the plant low's not enough. And then also the baby tears, regular hemianthus, not dwarf baby tears, is also not growing as well either. So these are the two like component problems, if you will, for me, because I've got this going on right here. And I'll show this. So that algae comes out pretty easily. But what you want to do with these Buce trees is you want to make sure you're pulling it like from where it's growing out from. So I'm actually pulling it out like around it. I don't want to pull the Buce off the trees. And the Buce actually looks really good. Let me get this last clump off and I'll bring you guys closer in just a second here to show you it. So overall, I'm pretty stoked about the way this is going down. This algae sucks, but it could be worse. The problem with this tank is that I simply don't have the variables that I would like. So it's like there should be, how should I say this? There should be more like I don't know. I'm not getting the plant growth that I wanted initially with the setup, which is fine. I just need to do the work to clean it out. And, you know, frankly, for not touching this tank for 2 months, like if anybody would just casually that worked here take it off, it'd be all right, but they're not. So I'm doing it on my own. I'll take this out and I'll show you the Buce here in just a second. All right, so here's the Buce. Yeah, so here we go. So here is the Buce philandra. You guys can see right there. By the way, somebody just came in. And the Buce, I'll swap this around actually. There we go. All right, so there's the Buce. And the Buce is really just, I don't know, not doing what I would like for it to do as far as growth, but it still looks pretty sick. I tie it on with the little not rubber bands, but like black wire from you get with like electrical equipment and all that. And then what I'm gonna do is I had the duckweed in here, and the duckweed's doing all right, but what I really want to do is get some plants, because big floating plants would actually, I think they would kind of ruin the scape, because I like the negative space. So what I'm gonna do, you know, Cash rules everything around me, you know, Crenum rules everything around me. I've got these big beautiful Crenum that I'm going to show you down here. I'm about to bust those out for you. First, let me get some of this work done in here. Get some of this stuff pulled off here. Y'all enjoying this little Thursday afternoon action? Going into my wife's work. Yeah, if I could edit the Wu-Tang over this, I would. So yeah, I am overall happy about this tank. The patients love it, which is a lot of fun. Like everybody that comes in here is all mesmerized by it, so that's always cool. And yeah, I am enjoying it. The baby tears is actually growing fairly decent along the bottom here. And I'm gonna bring in, I have a couple of Amano shrimp, but Amano shrimp are just kind of like an algae aid. They're not gonna remove everything. They're just gonna be in there kind of eating around. They're not like, you couldn't just like drop, unless you dropped like 100 Amano shrimp in there, then it would be okay. But you can't just go and say, hey, I'm gonna put like 5 Amano shrimp and expect them to like eat all that. That's just ludicrous. And one of the other things that I want to talk about with this that I think a lot of people do, this is actually some really nice moss on here, which I actually don't want in here. One of the things that I am not gonna do, that I see a lot of people rushing to do when they get algae, is they immediately like go off and they're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this algicide, or I'm gonna buy this, like, you know, filter pad. It's this too. They're looking for like a patch, like a quick cure. Like there is no quick cure. Like if there is, great, but you might kill off your beneficial bacteria. Like I'm always a fan of like figuring out what the hell is the problem. Like what's causing this? Why is there so much algae in here? What's causing it? I'm not gonna go get a patch or a fix or some pad that, you know, algae gone or whatever the heck the stuff is. Like, I don't know, a bunch of snake oil stuff if you ask me. Like, do the work, figure out what's causing it. I'm figuring out what's causing it. That light's the problem. That's nice crypts down in there. And you can see this stuff peels off pretty quickly. So that's, you know, 9 minutes, it's already looking a lot better. But what I'm gonna do here is I wanna talk through what I'm trying to do with the actual setup in the back here, because I've got, all right, so I like the design of this tank a lot. actually. Like I would say this is probably one of my favorite actual aquascapes. So I do like the design of this, but I want to talk about the design of it as well, because there's some things that are, how do I say this? There's some conflicts of goals between the aquascape and what I'm trying to do with the plant load. So originally, like I said, I wanted the algae, I wanted the I can't even talk. I wanted the Buce to be growing heavily, and it's really just not doing enough of the nitrate absorption, and there's too much waste, and there's a lot of fish in here, more than you can probably see. But what I'm gonna do here is say, I'm saying, okay, let's look at this from two different angles. Angle one would be like, how do I remove all the excess nutrients as quick as possible? And if I was not concerned about the look of this tank, here's how I would do it. I would add giant water wisteria, I would add hornwort, I would add guppy grass, I'd add another huge sword, I'd add a bunch of like huge floating plants, like I would get after it with float, I would add some water hyacinth, I would add like all kinds of crazy floating stuff. Does that make sense? Like I would add fast nitrogen removing, like fast growing plants like aponjatons, all that stuff. I would add all this kind of stuff in there. However, I don't think this tank would look good with wisteria here. I don't think it would look good with floating hyacinth. I don't think it would look good with floating water lettuce. I don't think it would look good. Yeah, it might look good with an aponjaton. But what I will say this is that I would like to add something that I think is an awesome plant, and that's the Crenum thionum, and I'm going to explain why. This is Crenum thionum in the mix here, and thionum. It's not species Sunday, but I'm gonna break your little species knowledge here. This is Crenum thionum. Now I'm gonna wax poetic on this for a minute here. Swap this around. Actually, you guys can see me here. Swap the camera, swap this, rotate here. All right, we're gonna give you a little species action here. So with this is Crenum thionum. All right, Crenum thionum is one of my favorite plants. Little story for you. Back in the day, your boy D had a 40 tall. It was my first planted tank. I actually had it level with a 29, so like they were at the same level. So aesthetically, it was really nice. And my guy up at the beach house, the place is no longer in business, a guy named Wayne, sold me one of these, and he's like, just barely planted above the bulb, show a little bulb out the top, and this plant will go nuts. Well, this was in a 40 tall. It grew like crazy. Drunk, stupid people would come in and be like, yo, is that salt? So this is a Crenum thionum. Now, it's not the fastest grower out of the gate. Crenum in general hate being moved. This one is the fastest growing Crenum that I've had. But this one's gonna go in here, and it's gonna go over here to this side. And I want it to kind of pull up like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that. I also wanna hide the heater. Hide your heaters, hide your filters, hide all that stuff. So this is the easiest Crenum. And then one thing with this Crenum that I think a lot of people kind of overdo is they overbury it. Like this is all rotted, this is all no good on the bottom here, but it's got the bulb. So you just get this stuff off of here. That's got to go. Crenum like their roots trimmed. See this? So you want to pull this off here. So that's good to go. And then that's foul. So I'm going to take this, and I don't actually trim the roots, but I'm going to shove it down back here. And what I want to do is now, this is the rub here. Now I'm doing this for the aesthetic, the look of it, not the workingness of the plant. Like if I really wanted to get rid of everything in here, I'd just add like 50 pounds of hornwort, algae be gone, hornwort would be going like crazy and it'd be over, but it wouldn't look good. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this plant right here, this wonderful hornwort, this one of Crenum thionum, and I'm just barely gonna stick it down in the bottom here. And the goal is to have that up look still with all the other plants, but I'm barely gonna plant it in. It doesn't like to be planted very much. And I actually brought with me intentionally some large gray gravel. And I think I have some big rocks down here. I do, yes. Yes, Dusty, that's it, that's what I'm talking about. So I got the big stuff. So we're gonna add these down here like this. You guys can see me shake my booty, shake my tail feathers for you. And we're gonna pin that down in there like that, just barely in there. And then I'm gonna grab another thionum. And that's gonna work. Like that's okay. Like I'm liking the way that is. I wish that heater wasn't in there, but I gotta keep the heater in there. So it is what it is. But another couple of Crenum thionum. Crenum rules everything around me. Cue the Wu-Tang music if you're down with that. But this is the thin leaf Crenum. And this, what we'll do is it'll go and it'll flow over the top there. So it'll flow like that. So that's the goal. and I'm super pumped about it. So I got this, adding a bunch of these in here, right in the mix, peeling off the dead roots, throwing that in there. Anybody liking this? Anybody enjoying this live? I could have just recorded this. Oh, there's a monster ass Amano shrimp. Hang tight, I'm gonna bring you guys close. A monster Amano shrimp right in the front. And I'll show you this guy real quick. Check this out. I get the like. So there's the giant Amano shrimp. Can you guys see that? That monster right there? Right in front of the face, just killing it. Monster Amano shrimp. Everybody see that? Pretty tight, huh? I love this tank. Cool, glad you're enjoying it. So I'm glad the Wi-Fi is holding up here at the non-profit Wi-Fi. So yeah, this tank is rolling. I've got one of the crenum down in there. I'm gonna actually hold 2 down in there and just dump a bunch of gravel on top, because that'll be just an easier way to go. I should be doing this with less water in here, but whatever. This tank is filtered by the wonderful FX4 from our friends at Fluval, which is just an awesome. Nobody's home, we're not answering. So, it's hard to do with one hand, so I'm gonna roll this back. I always keep extra gravel around too. I think that's a good move. You always wanna have extra gravel available. I'm using larger grade gravel for this, that's gonna be in the back. Now the problem is that this gravel is actually a finer grade, so this is the gravel I'm using here. And I'm gonna put this in the back here, like so. Grab 2 of these suckers. Pull this. Try not to knock the other one out while I do it though. Yeah, maybe we'll just go one at a time here. Also got that piece of driftwood I'm contending with. So there's that. And these rocks are really wicked too. You can see those. These are just an awesome rock. I need to get more of them for my secret location in Appalachia. And really, the crenum tyanum doesn't need to be that far down into the substrate. It prefers to just be kind of out of there. Ah, stay, quit floating. Stay. So, pin these down. More rocks. Get that situated. Get it situated, Dusty. Get it in there. I'm hurrying, folks. I'm hurrying. I'm trying. That'll get it in there. There you go. Making a mess. All right, now they're pinned in. So we got the crenum in there. Most of them anyway. Take this one out. And I really only want to do them on that one side. I'm going to wedge this guy in there too. There we go. Show you guys this right here. So this is going. This is hard to do because the crenum want to float. And I don't want them to float. So I'm pinning them down with this big old rock right here. Ah, that brooded one. Oh well. There we go. That big boy got out. Pin him back down. And that's how we're looking here. So yeah, you know, I could take some more time to get that going in there. Cranoptyanum does not want to plant, but now the goal is with these plants is that they'll go and they'll flow like all the way around, all the way over to the other side. So it'll like they'll come and just kind of like weave across the top. Do I think it's a permanent like solution to the algae problem? Actually, I don't. Like I don't think it'll be a permanent thing. But what I can do is kill the lights, and hopefully that will rectify the situation for a couple of days with just straight. Everybody's afraid to do a blackout too. Everybody's afraid to death of doing a blackout. Like, why would you just do a blackout? Like, kill the lights. That's causing the problem. Kill the lights. So take this one out, get away from it, and then now that I've stirred everything up a little bit, now we're going to siphon just a little bit of water out of this bad boy. How am I doing on time here? Oh, gotta get moving. So we're gonna grab the Zip Hyson right here, and we'll get it going. And then this is gonna do. Now the problem is I want to use this duckweed, so I'm actually not trying to remove too much duckweed, but I am gonna do a little bit of a water change on this sucker. We got this going, and that's running. Come on. Something in my tube. Alright, so now that's going. So now what you can do is you can take the siphon and you can pull the algae and put it into the siphon. So that'll pull it into there, which makes it easier. And I really need to just get in here and hack this baby tears down. You don't want to do too big of pieces of the algae up in the siphon though, because if you have any rocks in there, it'll clog it up, and then you're starting over. So just peeling everything back here a little bit, a little something. And then while this is draining, grab this big boy right here, scrub this mofo, scrub this mofo. So we're gonna scrub this biatch. Here we go. Wife scrubber loves it. Scrubbing this bad boy. Take you in close. And then the FX4 will suck a lot of this stuff out, which is nice, but you got to get it loose and you got to get it going. So that's what I'm starting to do here. There we go. Get that going. So yeah. Not bad. Doesn't take that much time to get it really cleaned up. I got that. So now I gotta stare at it. Alright, so what am I looking at? So I'm looking at this side, still needs work over here. The Tyanum don't look great over there, but it is what it is. I'm actually gonna wedge one in the back of that. I'm gonna go right-handed right here. Wedge one underneath this piece of driftwood here. It's amazing you use your dominant hand how well it goes. Alright. So that's in there. Alright, so now that's coming. So we're going to have the Tyanum grow up over this side. And just to see how I do this here, I always use a big ass bucket like this. And I'll swap this around. Evan, what's up, dude? So I'm actually going to take this whole thing through the land of the lost. Land of the lost. Alright, so I'm going to take this all the way back here and roll it, watching how that goes. It's easy to do with one hand, by the way, you folks. Should tell you. Alright, we're dragging this all back. Uh-oh. Potty's running. See that? Alright, so that goes. And then, get this out. Get this out. Of course, it's all knotted. Whatever. And if you raise this higher, and we're in the bathroom. Should I whip it out? Here we go. Sorry, that was uncalled for. So we're going in here. This is the nice thing about this python. Sometimes I come here and I don't bring the long enough python, and then that's miserable. So I got this in here. Should have untangled it before I got it going, but whatever. So there we're going. And then now we come over to the potty. And we try not to get too much water on the floor. Pull this out, pull this out, pull this out. And then we take it next to the potty. Down into the toilet. Show the group what you're working with. That's what I'm working with, folks. A full 50-footer in your face. So now we're playing here. And now we're working on the no maintenance tank. There's an Amano shrimp. And let's check the temps here. What's temps running on this bad boy? Temps are... that'll work. Yeah. Travel with the full beach though. Yeah, so there we go. So that's what we're doing. And yeah, we're gonna get this algae cleaned up. And we're gonna unplug the lights. Look at that. Oh, that's actually a Taiwan plant. That's a really wicked plant right there. Another Taiwan. So look at that Buce though. Check that out. Pretty sick, huh? So, all right, folks. So that is what's going on. There's a big old Amano shrimp in your face. See that guy? So yeah, cool. Anybody enjoy this? Anybody learn anything? You like this? A good time for me. Sub for great fish videos. Yeah, cool. Everybody have a fabulous freaking week. I'm gonna clean this sucker up. I want to show you guys how the no maintenance tank rolls. And yeah, tank on, everybody. Hit the like, hey, hit the subscribe button around there and hit that notifications button. You'll get more notifications of this stuff. Tank on, everybody. 4-day blackout coming on the no maintenance tank. Later.